Shali Siddhappa and welcome to my channel, which is Complemental Economics. Today's topic is aggregate demand from the chapter Determination of Income and Employment from Macroeconomics. Let's see the question. The question is, give the meaning of aggregate demand function. How can it be obtained graphically? For this particular question, we have to discuss about aggregate demand. What is aggregate demand is all about? So let me tell you, this question, it's not a new question because we've already read it about it. So how we read it? Indirectly, aggregate demand is nothing but the mixture of consumption function and investment function. Exact my previous videos, it is about aggregate demand, consumption function, one video you can see, and investment function. Combining that, we're going to read in the aggregate demand. So let's talk about aggregate demand now. So let's revise what is consumption function and what is investment function. Consumption function. What is consumption function is all about? My handwriting is coming really very bad. Please take over. Consumption function, we discussed about autonomous consumption and induced consumption. What is autonomous consumption? Autonomous consumption means the consumption which is not dependent on income. The consumption which is not dependent on income, that's called autonomous consumption. On the other side, you have induced consumption, the consumption which is completely dependent on income. When income increases, consumption increases. Income decreases, consumption also decreases. This kind of relationship which is called as induced consumption, with the help of MPC, we try to find out that. On the other side, we have investment function. The investment function, we discussed about only autonomous investment. The investment which is not dependent on income. If income is there, income is not there, income is zero, income is increasing, doesn't matter at all. So that is called autonomous investment. For an example, consumption function was C is equal to C bar plus small c into y. Investment function was I is equal to I bar. So whenever we use this bar, so that means that is autonomous. So combining this, what we can use is aggregate demand is equal to C bar plus I bar plus Cy. The aggregate demand is equal to C bar, consumption 1, autonomous consumption, autonomous investment, and induced consumption. So by adding this, we'll get the aggregate demand. So that means you have to add consumption function and investment function to get the aggregate demand. So here you have a diagram. So x-axis and the y-axis. So let's see what are the things you're going to get first. The first curve what you have got, that is investment function. So let me write it, that is I bar. The curve what you have got, that is I bar, which is I is equal to I bar. So that is consumption function. And next curve, the next curve is C is equal to C bar plus small c y. So this is the consumption function curve you already aware of, and the third curve, it is the aggregate demand curve, C bar plus I bar plus small cy. So in this one, what you have got to know is, this is investment function independently. We have read this about it. So in the last video you can see this, and this is consumption function individually. When you add up autonomous consumption and the induced consumption, you're going to get this curve. By adding these two, you're going to get the aggregate demand. So investment consumption, which is straight line, horizontal, parallel to x-axis, which we have studied in previous video of us, investment function topic. And consumption function, we have already said, because income is increasing, consumption also increases, so we're going to get the curve like this. By adding these two curves, we're going to get the aggregate demand curve. So the next information here, to get the aggregate demand, we have to add up consumption and investment, which I have said. Vertically, we are going to add consumption function and the investment function. I just told you now. So in this one, you can see, to get the aggregate demand curve and the consumption curve, they both are parallel to each other. Can you see this? Consumption function and the aggregate demand curve, they both are moving in the same direction. And the last one, this is ex ante demand. What is ex ante? We have discussed just previous video of mine, which is investment function. Ex ante demand, aggregate demand, that means aggregate demand, here you have two topics, that is consumption and the investment. The consumption function also ex ante consumption, investment also ex ante investment. By adding that, it becomes ex ante investment demand curve. So I hope you understood this. So to explain this particular topic, what you have to do is, first you have to see consumption function, then you have to see investment function. Both the answers you have to explain, then you have to come with this. I don't wanted to repeat the same answers from the last videos, so I just reduce the content. So if you want to explain better, first you see consumption function and the investment function, then you can conclude the aggregate demand curve. I hope you understood this particular topic. Thank you so much. Please subscribe and share. Thank you.